Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm Scott Wyman. Cass County Parks have been the director for probably 20 years or so, but I've been in the Parks Department for 35 years. And that's one of our bridges at Arthur Dodd Park. Everybody needs beauty as well as bread, places to play in and pray in, where nature may heal and give strength to body and soul alike. John Muir is the kind of the lead of the outdoor movement back in the day. He's also the founder of the Sierra Club. That's Harvest Festival. That's my son Josh. We have a Harvest Festival every year, and there's a video behind that, but I think we'll bypass the video today. Again, I'm Scott Wyman. I'm the director. I went to Marcel's High School. My kids went to Edwardsburg schools. I love the outdoors, 35 plus years, Cass County Parks. My family is very, very important to me. And I'm very appreciative and blessed to have what I have. I mean, I'm doing, not many people can say this, I'm doing exactly what I intended to. I grew up on a farm in Cass County. I knew I wanted to be outside. And from day one, I was fortunate enough to be in the Cass County Parks. I've only been in the Cass County Parks. I've been here my whole career. So, I'll just talk about my responsibilities, education, likes, typical day, challenges, salary, class focus, and if you want to go in Parks and Recreation, how you go about doing that. Words of wisdom, that's the most exciting part that everybody looks forward to. We have 860 acres within our park system, various special events, full-time and part-time staff I'm in charge of. I have a 10-member Parks and Recreation Board and a 7-member County Commission Board, the highest board in the land. My boss is the county administrator. Budget is a challenge every year, trying to make things work with the money that's allotted to us. Visitors, when you visit our parks, you're my responsibility, and I take that very seriously. My team takes that very serious. Your safety, your well-being, and we want you to have a good time. We are stewards of the land and water, and just recently, the sky too, with our International Dark Sky designation. Went to, like I said, Marcellus High School, went to SMC for a while, took environmental issues. Here at SMC, what a great place to build a foundation for the future, SMC. Go Roadrunners. Then I went to Olivet College, and I have a degree in Parks and Recreation with a minor in Business Administration. And I'm always going here and there to try to continue my education. So, classes throughout Michigan and beyond. What do I like about my job? I love the outdoors. I grew up on a farm. I wanted to live, work outside. I'd probably be a farmer. But my allergies are so bad that I just couldn't do it. Simple as that. Love the flexibility of my job, love the people. Hometown is very important to me. I'd like to think that Parks and Rec are part of the quality of life puzzle, a very important piece. And again, I think that's serious. A perfect example is when COVID was at its peak. You couldn't go hardly anywhere, but thankfully you could go to parks and open space. And I mean, our visitation probably increased by 30% just because we were the only game in town. We were having to close parks down in the middle of the week because there were too many people within our parks. We are so thankful that we had our parks and other open spaces to go. And people they kind of took parks, in my view, they took parks and rec for granted, parks and open space for granted. But they got a quick reminder how important that is during COVID. And then my benefits are pretty good being a county employee. There really is no such thing as a typical day, especially now that dark sky is upon us. Day could go till 2 a.m. Greeting people for our dark sky viewing, but it's typically 7 a.m., 4 p.m. I'm on call all the time. My phone is the best of times, worst of times. Everything goes through my phone. My emails and voicemails and texts for work are channeled through my phone wherever I am. It doesn't matter, Florida, Michigan, wherever, it all goes through my phone. And then I have a staff, very small staff, but they're integral in our success. It's not me, it's everybody. It's everybody. Our parks are community driven. They really, really are. Emails, Facebook, calendar, to-do lists, office work in the morning, field work in the afternoon, typically. Okay. I'm fortunate. I mean, our department is small, and I wish we had more employees, but until that happens, I have to get out of the office. I have to physically help build things and clean things and organize things. I like that personally, because I'm an outdoors person. Now, if you were in a bigger parks department, the director hardly sees the light of day. They're in their office doing director stuff, you know. I mean, I do director stuff, but I also work with the team too, with the crew, and fill in. I mean, the crew needs breaks, and when they take a break, there's nobody else to fill in their position. So I could be talking to students today and honestly cleaning outhouses tomorrow if I have nobody, because somebody has to do it. It has to get done. We use all sorts of volunteers. I mean, there's Sasquatch watching over a project. You believe in Sasquatch? Please.
Sometimes.
All right.
Sister Lake's Monster.
The Sister Lake's Monster. Read up on it. It's a true thing. So, just kind of an example how we get things done. That bridge at Dodd Park, which is on the Dowagiac River between Dowagiac and Niles, that bridge was 4 feet too low. So we had to lift it up. Well, to get a professional bridge lifting person from Grand Rapids to come down here, it was like $80,000 to lift that bridge up. So I went to South Bend and contacted a house mover company, and they did it for like $12,000. So that's how we get things done. There's usually another way. And well, just think of that bridge. That's the bridge right there. If that bridge was 4 foot lower, then we'd really have a problem. So that's flooding at Dodd Park not too long ago. And oh yeah, that's a picnic shelter. That's under about 2 foot of water. And the grass and the play equipment and everything else was down there. So yeah, we have to manage that. We have to mitigate, crisis when it happens. That's cool thing about that is at one time the students from the incoming class at Andrews University, the incoming freshmen had to go out in the community and work for the day. So there for a few years they came to Dodd Park. So those kids, a lot of them were from out of country, and I tell this story is because I had a group of young ladies. They had never been in a moving stream before. And so when I heard that, I said, just stop. Take your shoes off, roll up your pants, and get in that dang water. They're like, oh my gosh. Something I take for granted every single day, getting in water, which I've done my whole life, they had never, ever, ever done in their lives. So, and then, everybody jumped in and we were removing trees and stuff, but it was just a great day. I had my Gator out there, my all-terrain vehicles, John Deere Gator, 6-wheel, and I was letting each one of them take a turn driving it, and I'd say more than half said, we've never driven anything in our lives, not a lawnmower, not a car, nothing. We don't even know what to do. I said, you will. It's okay. So those are the cool things that happen in my job. Stewards of the land and everything within it. I was walking by that outhouse, and I heard buzzing. I'm like, what is that? somebody's gonna use the outhouse, I don't want them to get stung. So I knew that there was something behind that wall, so I went and got, I didn't hire, I talked to a person that is a beekeeper. He voluntarily came out, opened that up, that was a whole beehive, honeybee hive. We have to keep our pollinators, we can't kill our pollinators. He rescued all those with a shop vac. He took a shop vac, sucked them all up, took them to his house, and created his own hive. I just love it. And that's volunteers throwing out wood chips. And again, tornado went through, that's the tornado that went through how many years ago in that area?
Yes.
15 or 20, right? At least. Yeah. So yeah, that's our trailhead. We have bald eagles in the park. You know that. You probably see them fly over. Yeah, we have bald eagles in our park. They've been there 8 years at least.
Okay.
Yeah. And then again, one of our most popular events is our Harvest Festival Trunk and Treat. We partner with 4-H, Michiana Jeep Club, and we hand out candy, have all sorts of activities. This year we had over 1,000, almost 1,100 people visit. It was the most incredible day ever. That is a snowy owl, and that is a Amy Pica wildlife bird of prey rehabilitator. She takes injured owls and birds of prey and rehabilitates them. And we have coyote in the park. You know that. You can probably hear them howling.
Yeah, I hear.
I wish I had a picture. Robert has a great story. He was out dark sky in it not too long ago, and he had 2 bobcat screaming on either side of him.
Okay.
They sound like a young lady screaming. We have over 35 Eagle Scout projects within our parks. This is just one in our group camp at Lawless. The Jack River, people tubing down, inner tubing. That's my wife and I, crazy clown guy, kind of scary clown guy, but rest her soul. That's Linda Preston, Linda Preston, not Linda Preston. Anyways, that's Linda, and she was the treasurer in Cass County for the longest time, but she loved to volunteer for the parks, and she was on my parks board. And again, we were handing, that's me on the right, we were handing candy out at the COA. Anytime I get asked to do something, give back to the community, because the community gives so much to us, I always like to help whenever possible. We'll let him talk about his stuff a little more, but we are an international dark sky park. There's a country artist, Keith Anderson. He was performing at the Cass County Fair, and he contacted the fair people and said, you know what, I love riding mountain bikes. Do you know any place I can ride? And they said, well, we just happen to have a top-rated mountain bike trail at Dr. Lawless Park. So that's Keith Anderson, country star, riding at Dr. Lawless Park. Just various pictures, Trillium, and interpretive signs, youngster looking at a morel mushroom. And then we have 4 lakes at Lawless where they fish. That's ice fishing, cardinal, buck, geese, volunteers, Eagle Scouts putting up wood duck houses at Lawless. Again, families taking their shoes off and diving into the water. Midwest Energy had 2 years of volunteer days at our parks, and they just brought their whole team out there and just did fantastic things. And then this was, we bought from a farmer on the north side of Lawless. We bought some acreage, and my boss was there 23 years, and this farmer, my boss, had literally a handshake agreement. My boss was named Raleigh. This gentleman was named Don Dristerhoff, and Raleigh said, Don, when you decide to sell this property, will you give the parks first right of refusal? Don, just a short farmer, but tough as nails, and he said, yep, Raleigh, I'll shake your hand, and that'll be Don passed away, but his family knew that he had that agreement, gave Raleigh his word, and the family sold that property to us. Just like Don had promised, on a handshake.
It doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen very often. Just some improvements within our parks. We're getting ready to do hopefully a whole lot more planning. We've probably planted, I don't know, in the 35 years I've been in the parks, probably 5,000 trees, and that's just us planting some pine trees within our parks. That's a tree planter. Just some other beautiful photos. Cicada killer. That was our petting zoo. We had a petting zoo at one of our events, and that's what they brought. Field trips, we do all sorts of field trips. Again, Harvest Fest. Harvest Fest. We have intertubing at Dr. Lawless. And we'll get underway here. We had it open for a couple days there, a week or so ago. We had a foot of snow. And then we'll have Discover Winter Nights where we stay open until 9 o'clock at night. And we'll have stargazing and all sorts of different activities for people to do at night. Again, Eagle Scout's so important. My daughter Ashley at the top right, she's getting ready to graduate and become a veterinarian. So, yeah.
MSU? She at MSU?
No, she went to St. George University in Grenada.
Oh, wow.
And then she had to do her last year at the University of Georgia, and she'll be done in January. Yeah, so, and that's my mother and father-in-law. Again, it's a family. I mean, with a small community.
Was that named Ranieri?
Huh?
Was that Ranieri?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
I
was
didn't know
Dar,
that. All right. Yeah, I
Molly's
know.
passed,
Yeah,
but
okay.
yeah, they supported the parks, and were active in the Friends of the Parks. And again, it's family, this community is so family driven, in small communities. That's the Sand Hill Crane. Well, I'll tell you who's instrumental in the Sand Hill Crane, Mr. Ron Gunn.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Gunn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's one of our biggest allies and supporters, so I work with him all the time, and it's such a pleasure. Mountain biking, we have 10 miles of mountain bike trails at our parks, and they're maintained 80% by NIMBA, Northern Indiana Mountain Bike Association, and what's cool about that is we're the only trail in Michigan that they call one of their trails. And when they run all their special events, it's run at Lawless Park, not the trails that they have in Indiana, but at Lawless Park. So we have such a good relationship with them, and we're so thankful that they consider us one of their own. We have an Easter egg event where we come out and find 5,000 Easter eggs. My challenges are always money, staffing, staying current. I mean, you can do more. I guarantee you can do more on your cell phone than I can do on my computer. So it's for me, it's tough staying current. That's why I'm glad I have my audio-visual guy here as a safety blanket. It's my blankie. It's my little blankie. So technology and then politics. Oh my gosh, don't get me started.
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
politics.
Politics, yeah. We'll just leave it right there, but politics, even at the county level.
It's a challenge.
It's salary, Lower Michigan, 62,000 average. If you're working for a big parks department, I know some directors that make 100,000 plus, and I know some that don't quite make that. So I don't quite make that, but I make up for it in other ways. I mean, my benefits are good, and I have a work truck that I can take home, so that's kind of a big deal. But money's good. Money's always important, but it's not that important to me. There's other things that are more important. So I had a chance. I had a chance to go other places in my life, but this is home. Home is home. You want to be well-rounded, have your core classes, build up your foundation at SMC. Biology, science, communication, technology, computers, trade schools and classes. All these areas you can incorporate into Parks and Recreation, or I should say Parks and Recreation can be incorporated into all these disciplines. Universities that are good around here for Parks and Rec, right there, and then Southwestern, again, I can't say it enough. There are some majors in Parks and Rec, and minors in Parks and Rec. So much to choose from, my goodness, it's just crazy. Words of wisdom: take your education serious. Be a sponge, soak it up, soak up all you can soak up, whether it's in school, outside of school, wherever you are. Knowledge is power. How about that? Knowledge is power. Volunteer, get practical experience, be positive, be adaptable. These days, my goodness, you have to be adaptable. There's so much adversity out there. If you can't make it on the fly, if you can't make a split-second decision and continue, sometimes it's tough. Have passion. Whatever you do, have passion. And in fact, I heard this the other day, and it was at a funeral, but the person that passed away was a school teacher. And she said that your job, how you do things, is a reflection on you. So you want that to be positive. No matter what you're doing, it's a reflection on you. So do it the best you can. Be humble and kind. You don't have to be rich or poor or live in a certain area to be humble and kind. Okay? And then have confidence. Have confidence in you. So when people aren't treating you right, you know in your heart, in your soul, that I'm good. And I like me. I like who I am. You can say whatever you want, but it's not fazing me because I like me. I'm comfortable with me. And I'll take care of it. And that is an immature bald eagle that was rehabilitated by Amy. And I don't know how I would get that to play. How would I get that to play?
I don't know if you go to the screen and you push the screen on a computer to.
Yeah, let's try that. Oh, yeah. Oh.
There it is.
Oh. There it goes. That's an immature bald eagle that was rehabilitated and let loose at all. Oh, hey, we're gonna watch it again.
Now, will that stay in the area, Scott?
Probably not, because there's already a pair there.
So they're very territorial.
Yeah, now it may not go too far away, but not right at all. There's not two nesting pairs of bald eagles at Wallace. There's one nesting pair, and that's us, our parks, our community, our future. I'll say this to you too. So I gave you this piece of corn. So in my life, there's probably been half a dozen people that have made an impression on me. One of them was Johnny Rodebush, longtime county commissioner, just a great person. He was on my parks board, and he always carried around corn he'd have in his pocket. He'd hand it to people. Have you heard the corn story before,
No,
Johnny?
I have not. No.
So Johnny grew up in Arkansas farm back in the 40s or 20s or whatever.
Depression area.
Yeah, and so he's hauling big buckets of corn from the granary to the hog pen or wherever. Hauling, he was just a kid, hauling these big things. And he's getting tired, and he's getting cranky, he's getting hungry, he's getting thirsty, and he finally comes back. His dad fills up the buckets, and Johnny goes, I can't do it anymore. And his dad goes, really? Yep, I can't lift anymore, I can't take anymore. Really? Okay. So he took out one piece of corn, So I got one piece of corn, put it in Johnny's bucket, just dropped it in his bucket, and he goes, can you carry the buckets now with that one extra piece of corn in there? And Johnny goes, well, yeah, sure, I can do that. I mean, it's just one piece of corn. He goes, you can always do more. Simple as that. You can always do more. One piece of corn is doing more. So, and then also, you don't have to be in a leadership role to be a leader.
A title doesn't make you a leader.
Right. Getting ordinary people to create extraordinary results, that's a leader too. So you don't have to be the head of the department or the president of the United States or whomever. It'd be nice. I mean, it'd be nice to do that.
This guy's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Because when I was pining for Dr. Lawless Park to be a dark sky park, times when I cry on Scott's shoulder, like I just, it seems like roadblock after roadblock, and you get frustrated and get mad, and he's like, just same thing. One more piece of corn, keep trying, keep trying. Eventually we did. Scott's a leader.
Try to be.
You want me to take over?
Absolutely, buddy.
Okie dokie.
Robert is I call him our dark sky ambassador, our dark sky advocate. Without him, literally, we wouldn't be an International Dark Sky Park at Lawless Park.
Which one is your USB drive?
Oh, the bottom one, yeah. Bottom.
I can't believe it. USB, the first time I plugged it in, it was right. There's a 50-50 chance, but 90% of the time you're always trying to put it in the wrong way, so. Okay. Well, as Scott said, my name is Robert Parrish. I'm the Vice President of the Cass County Parks and Recreation Department. I'm a delegate to the International Dark Sky Association. I received my master's and bachelor's from Western Michigan University, where every darn day is a good day to be a Western Michigan Bronco. And I'm a dyed-in-the-wool, no doubt about it, absolutely true nerd, an astro nerd. And if you don't, which button do you press here? I see.
Left or right.
If you don't believe that, let's travel back to 1963, and Santa Claus just brought me a telescope. And that's my dad in the back. So my dad, who was my inspiration for getting Lawless Park recognized as an International Dark Sky Park, between him, that telescope, and growing up in the 1960s during the space race, I was hooked, absolutely hooked. My dad spent a number of years in the United States Navy. He was just an enlisted man, and he was on an aircraft carrier in the Atlantic Ocean. And many times he related to me how beautiful the night sky was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on a moonless night. And he also used to tell me that there was a pilot, and I say pilot so you can understand, if my dad was here, he'd correct me, because in the Navy, they're not pilots, they're aviators. There was a naval aviator, an officer, who would take those who wanted to learn out of the deck at night and teach them different constellations, because back then, way before GPS, pilots had to know how to navigate by the night sky. So my dad learned a lot, and then when we moved back to Michigan, he passed that knowledge on to me, and we spent many a night out in the back lawn fending off mosquitoes, looking through that telescope, talking about the stars. So my dad passed away 4 years ago, thought it would be a good idea to remember him by trying to start a dark sky park. And these two silhouettes you see and up there on the screen are representative of my dad and I. It's part of our logo. And the constellation you see in the sky above them is called Ophiuchus. And in Greek mythology, Ophiuchus was kind of known as a celestial medicine man. So that's a shout out to Dr. Lawless, who is the namesake for the park. And if you doubt the fact that we're an international dark sky park, we have a sign to prove it. Because believe me, as Scott said, budget is a big problem. And if we weren't a dark sky park, we certainly wouldn't have spent the money on a sign. So we're not only an international dark sky park, we're also a Michigan dark sky preserve. And what's the difference? Well, to become an international dark sky park, the standards are much more stringent, much more. For a Michigan dark sky preserve, used to be, you had to get that title, it had to be for land that was managed by the Michigan DNR. But by working with State Senator Aaron Miller out of Sturgis, Scott and I went up to Michigan, testified in front of one of their legislative boards or committees, and we were able to get that changed. So now county parks can be recognized as Michigan dark sky preserves. And the Michigan Economic Development Corporation recognizes the importance of protecting Michigan's dark skies, because astrotourism is on the rise nationwide, and tourism is one of Michigan's biggest industries. So they came out with this video. National networks and in over 2,200 different theaters across the Midwest. So astrotourism is on the rise, and Michigan is poised to reap the benefits of that. Presently there are 3 international dark sky parks in Michigan. Us, Headlands, which is up by Mackinac City, and then another one just came online this summer, which was Keweenaw Mountain Lodge in Copper Harbor. But there's also 8 Michigan dark sky preserves, 2 of which are us and Headlands, and then the others are pretty much scattered along the shore of Lake Huron. Dark sky etiquette, dark sky park etiquette, that's kind of a crappy representation, and we just got new signs on the park, and I don't have a picture of it. The most important thing is when you're visiting a dark sky park, no white light is permitted, because that will ruin your night vision. So always have a flashlight that emits a red light, and that'll protect your night vision.
Takes it, what, 20 minutes to recover?
20 minutes or almost a half hour for your eyes to redilate so that they can soak up all these ancient photons from millions of light years away. So you always want to remember that. And believe me, there's people out there at night, you show up with a white light, they're going to let you know, turn that damn light off. So always remember that. This is from the International Dark Sky Association. Part of being a dark sky park is education on light pollution. So take in the video and pay close attention to this.
We live on the surface of a planet, spinning on its axis once every 24 hours. Its rhythms of day and night are embedded in the biological makeup of all life. During the day, we bathe in the glow of the sun. As night approaches, darkness takes over. It's a time to rest, to rejuvenate, to marvel at the beauty of the night. Until just over a century ago, our night skies were very dark. Now, even the wilderness is invaded by light. Our cities glow at night. Buildings are lit up. Unshielded lights blind us as we travel along our streets and roads. All these artificial lights overpower the darkness. The waste of energy is obvious, even from space. Much of that yellow glare the astronauts see comes from streetlights. They produce most of the light pollution on the planet. The glare is scattered by the atmosphere, creating sky glows over the landscape. We are losing the dark of night at the speed of light. Light pollution threatens the health of every living thing on Earth. Lights at night disrupt plant growth. Unshielded lights contribute to the deaths of countless land and sea animals each year. Migrating birds crash into illuminated buildings. Newly hatched sea turtles mistake the glow of electric lights for the shimmer of the ocean's surface. Bright lights at night also directly affect humans. Drivers and pedestrians temporarily blinded by poorly designed lights have suffered tragic accidents. Light pollution poses a silent threat to our health. Exposure to light at night disrupts the circadian rhythms that regulate our sleep cycles. People working at night under bright lights or living in light-polluted cities face a higher risk of developing diseases such as breast and prostate cancer. Here is a night sky with typical light pollution. On a good night, only the brighter stars and planets pierce the glow. This is what the night sky might look like if we could remove the light pollution. That faint band of light stretching across the sky is the Milky Way, our home galaxy. Because of light pollution, many people have never seen it. Astronomers know all too well the problems caused by lighting up the night. They need clear, dark skies to study the many fascinating objects in the universe. Light pollution simply washes out their view of the cosmos. Lighting up the night sky wastes money and fossil fuels. To keep a 100-watt light bulb turned on every night for a year takes the equivalent energy output from burning half a ton of coal. Multiplied by the billions of lights blazing up from Earth, the cost of energy we use to light up the night is colossal. While lighting is needed, there are some simple things we can do to ensure that it's neighborhood-friendly, energy-efficient, and helps preserve dark skies. We can replace light fixtures that send light up to the sky with ones that direct light down, exactly where we want it. They're called fully shielded fixtures. We can also illuminate only the places that need it. And of course, we can just turn off unnecessary lights. These are smart ways to use lighting. They offer simple solutions to problems caused by light pollution. We have a choice between wasting resources by sending light to the sky or learning to use light more responsibly. Light pollution is a problem each of us can help solve. Together, we can bring back the dark of night to planet Earth.
Okay, I'm a firm believer that Mother Nature can be beautiful, just as beautiful at night as it can during the day. So when you're talking about lighting at your home or anywhere outdoors at night, please consider fully shielded lights that keep the glare from the lights coming at you horizontally into your eyes and keeps it from going vertically up into the air. And make sure you're selecting lights that have a color-corrected temperature of 2700 Kelvin or less, because that limits the blue wavelengths of light that are harmful to environmental and human health. So I'm trying to move along quickly here. I'm a firm believer that if people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I bet they would live a lot differently. And I look at that from the standpoint of no matter if you believe the universe was created by an all-powerful being or it was created by scientific happenstance, there's no getting around the fact that everything in this room, including us, the entire population, everything in the world is created through star stuff. We are all part of the universe. And when we can't see the sky at night in its beauty, that prevents us from looking back into our own past. These are some of the pictures that I've taken at the park. This is our closest neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy, 2.5 million light years away. Do you know the speed of light? I'm going to round it out to 168,000 miles per second. That means in 1 second you could go around the Earth over 7 times. That's pretty darn fast. This is 2.5 million light years away. So if you can go around the Earth 7 times in 1 second, think of how far something is away when I say you're giving light a chance to travel for 2.5 million years. And some of the things now that the James Webb Telescope is seeing is 13.5 billion light years away. Matter of fact, it's kind of putting the scientific world on its head because they're seeing things now that are older than what they previously thought was the age of the universe. So if you were to travel across the diameter of the Andromeda Galaxy at the speed of light, never stopping, how long do you think it would take you? Guesses? Throw out a guess.
1,000 years.
Take you 200,000 years.
Wow.
And that's twice the size of our Milky Way galaxy. This is the Orion Nebula in the center, and up in the upper left is what they call the Running Man Nebula. You can kind of see an outline that kind of looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy. But the Orion Nebula in the middle is actually a stellar nursery. Inside all those gases in that cloud are all the ingredients needed to produce stars. This is the Pleiades, also known as the Seven Sisters. Next time you see a Subaru car, look at the logo on the car, has stars. That's the Pleiades. They use that as their logo. And this is the Wizard Nebula. That's what's left of a supernova that exploded, a sun or a star that exploded. That's near the constellation Cassiopeia. That's the end of my slideshow. A couple other facts to kind of give you an idea of how big the universe is. What's our closest star? It's an easy one.
Are you serious?
Mm-mm.
No.
What's the star
Oh, yeah,
closest to the
sun,
Earth?
the sun, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
the sun. The sun is so big that 1 million Earths could fit inside the sun. But there's there's another star in the constellation Orion. It's called Betelgeuse. For ease of pronunciation, everybody calls it Betelgeuse. 1 million suns could fit inside Betelgeuse. And then there are stars out there, red giants, that are even bigger yet. So the universe is vast. And when you come out to the park, you can see a lot of that. I'm usually out there on our stargazing nights. We have a Facebook presence with our schedule on it. When you come out to the park at night, look for the old fat guy on the north end with a big telescope, and that can show you the rings of Saturn, Jupiter and its moons, galaxies, globular clusters, and show you around the night sky. Thank you for your time. In the words of John Lennon, I hope I pass the audition.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions?
No, I think you answered everything.
Yes, sir. Huh? You absolutely can. Thank you. And that person, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that was Linda Pruitt.